The evening session in Nottingham for the first night of Blur's Parklife Tour last night, with the band and various members of their entourage in the bar next door at the hotel.
And somehow, I don't know how, we managed to drag out Andy Ross from Food Records, the man who signed Blur in the first place, and since then must have noticed some sizable changes in the band.
Well, the first time I saw them, they were a rather amateurish shambles, which was very endearing, but they've turned themselves into a highly professional shambles, which is extremely impressive to see and fun for all the family. I think they've managed to maintain all the energy and excitement and sense of humour that they had in the first place, but tacked onto that, they've managed to turn themselves into one of the world's foremost pop acts, and I'm very thankful for it too.
Because you first saw them when they were Seymour, and they were quite a different band in a way, weren't they?
Well, yeah, absolutely, because David the drummer wore pyjama trousers, and they had to go to be replaced by some other form of trouser wear, I hasten to add. Yeah, we actually had it put in the contract with Blur, no pyjama trousers, so they would have been in breach of their contract had the pyjama trousers ever reared their ugly trousers again.
Do you still get excited, though? Is there that sense of anticipation at the start of a tour like this?
I think it's a kind of thrill you get from swinging from a candelabra kind of excitement. It's that kind of joyous joie de vivre that they purvey.
That's the advert out of the way. What's your favourite Blur kind of gig memory?
Well, there's numerous ones, I mean, good and bad, but probably the most memorable one was at the Lady Owen Arms, which is a tiny little pub that has since closed. I wonder why. Where my main memory of that is Damon falling off the stage and a friend of the band, this girl called Jo, started kicking him in the head. And it was very entertaining, really. It didn't seem to suffer any lasting effects from it, and it was very spectacular to watch.
Just walking up to Rock City at the moment, there's loads of people actually beginning to descend on the venue, but it occurs to me at this point in time, the Blur have made exactly the right record for the right point in time, almost. It's as if we all wanted a great pop record from a British band at this moment in time.
Blur came on just after about 9 o'clock. They kicked off with Sunday, and it was just sheer brilliance all the way. Hitsville, basically, with the exception of For Tomorrow, that didn't actually make it onto the set list. They also played most of the new album with stunning renditions of To The End and Trouble in the Message Centre. Crowd pleasers, every one of them.
It's Radio 1's Roving Reporter, Steve Lamacq.
It is indeed, and I must mention at this point that Damon quite spectacularly actually managed to stage dive into the crowd last night, losing a shoe in the process, which he managed to get back later on. But anyway, after the gig, we collared the band backstage, and in a room which was part dressing room, part bathroom, by the looks of things, and thrust a few questions at them, like whether the pressure on the band has actually changed since they're having a #1 album.
The advantage is that we've been doing it for a long time now, so if they haven't seen us, they come and see us, and we've had a lot of practice, so we sort of know what we're doing now. It's better than having a #1 album on your first album, because you've learned how to live up to the expectations.
I feel like I can do anything. I feel absolutely godlike, and then I go to the toilet and I can't wipe my bottom properly.
What's your favourite R.E.M. song?
Oh, Superman. But I don't think they wrote that.
Figures.
I have to point out though, Alex, until we arrived in Nottingham, thought it was in Yorkshire. So, don't actually take anything that says that seriously, because there's a history of madness in his family.
But the thing with Blur is, this is one of the questions we asked as well, has the audience changed? Has the band's audience changed? Or at least the relationship with the audience?
Last year we felt like we do now, really. I mean, the people that came to see us weren't as many, but they were equally enthusiastic, and we really bonded with them, and it's just a sort of, it's going back to see all your old mates, isn't it, really?
We have to point out at this point during the interview that Damon is lying in the bath.
It's a nice sort of dark beige bath with false gold attachments.
No, it's the same bathroom as my mum and dad have got.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. I feel really at home in here. Well, in the bathroom, but at home. It's the same sink, loo, except my mum's got a different seat on there.
She hasn't got one of these seats where you have this sort of woven woolen type of thing over the seats.
No, she used to when it was a thing to do, and then the one around the base of the loo as well. But I'll have to get in the bath later.
Obviously born to live the rock and roll lifestyle right from the very beginning, but they are vaguely human. They must get homesick at times, wanted to know.
Not really on British tours, because home's only a train journey away. We only do sort of 3 in a row, and then we go home for a day, and then we go home.
It's important to kind of to have little things with you that make you feel more safe, I find. I always
Just have a sort of comfort blanket or something.
you do need those little comforts. A bag of carrots and a big science textbook.
But is it a democracy in the van with videos and music and stuff? Because obviously bands argue on tour in the van about what they're going to watch. I mean, is it a democracy or does someone pull rank?
Not really, because Graham brings all the videos and most of the music, so it's really his choice. But he's probably got the best in-flight entertainment.
It's very important to me. I spend quite a long time choosing what the rest of the boys might like to view in the tour bus. I put myself in that situation, yeah, and go through my videos. Oh, they've seen that, but they might not be bored of it yet. They might enjoy seeing that again. But I like banging a few surprises to make that journey in the dull old van just that bit more exciting.
1FM's evening session, talking to Damon from Blur about the album Parklife. Is this an album that you kind of indulged yourself on?
When anyone wants to make an album, they're basically going back to the music that they loved as adolescents. I think that's the basic motivation for any band. And between the band, there were so many different facets, and we've just sort of piled them all in.
It's just the element of music hall, it is so bizarre.
Why? I was born in the East End, though I wouldn't call myself, a true Cockney. I mean, I lived there for 10 years, and that was the music that I really loved, and it's a sort of sinister kind of funny thing about musical which I love. And I think there's a lot to do with me playing the piano as well, and if you play the piano it's either Chopin or musical, and I can't play Chopin.
And also, of course, tracks on there which sound a bit like the Cardiacs as well.
Well, I've always loved the Cardiacs, but the Cardiacs, again, they're really strongly influenced by musical. I always say this, but one of the most underrated bands.
It's a different, it's a different beat, isn't it? When you've got
well, it's using different time signatures.
Yeah.
It's using 3/4 and 6/8, which rock music, American rock music, I wouldn't know if it hit it in the face, basically. Well, I must say, it's the virtual me here.
Oh, right.
I'm at home doing some cooking at the moment.
What are you
So
cooking?
whatever I say, I can't be held responsible for.
Okay, fine.
Because you are a great cook, I've been
Well,
told.
I'm an aspiring cook. I wouldn't call myself great yet. But the thing I'm really into at the moment is fish and red pepper soup.
Now, that's more adventurous than
It's
your
not, it's
average.
really straightforward. It sounds quite flash, but it's not.
Do you entertain? Do you have dinner parties?
Not yet, no. I wouldn't do anything like that.
You certainly
Down
wouldn't
a pub,
admit to
I
it.
am.
Do you improvise then?
No.
It's
My
not like a
my
sort of-
mum's a brilliant improviser. She makes the most fantastic food, but you've got to be really, really good to do that. I'm still have to really sort of, line by line.
Right.
Is that how you did the album then?
I was going to say, is it a metaphor for writing? Yeah.
I'm a bit better at making albums than I am at cooking, I think. Marginally.
You sure? When was the last time you listened through to the album?
I haven't listened to it for about 4 weeks. I listen to it incessantly just after we finish, and I can sort of go on long walks at night and make sure that it makes sense to me, and then I stop listening to it for about a year. Just because, I want to do something else now. I'm very happy with it, but I want to do something else.
Are you? You are really happy with it?
Yeah, it's definitely the best thing we've done.
When you started writing the album, did you have a kind of vague concept in mind of what you wanted it to be like? There's a lot more songs, for instance, which are about characters this time.
Naughty characters.
Yeah, or misfit characters, in
Yeah,
fact.
the Kinks and Madness for me, and Kurt Weill, those three together always wrote about characters who were slightly loony, and I sort of like doing the same in my own way. What I like is to come out with a sort of character and then wind them up, and then they go from A to B within 3 minutes.
Do you actually kind of almost role play it yourself? Do you-
Yeah, definitely.
Still playing bass in bare feet?
Yeah, I like to get my shoes off.
Well, I was going to say, this album, the individuals of Blur probably make their mark more than previous albums.
Well, we've all kind of got our own little niches now, I suppose. The way you do things becomes more and more ingrained, I guess, the further you go on. So we're all more confident about what our little niche is.
Yeah, the roles to play.
Yeah.
Almost.
We all keep each other going, really. I mean, that's the most important thing. Otherwise, there'd be no chemistry. You might as well just get a job as a session musician or something. That's the important thing about bands, is that there is something that you can't put your finger on.
When you first joined, did you feel like that sort of outsider with Graham and Damon having known each other for so long?
Not really. I think we all thought we were the best bloke.
So how have you made your mark on this album?
Well, I played the bass, mainly. I did
Just for change.
I did compose a little tune.
Yeah, Far Out. Tell us about that.
It's about cosmology and frames of reference, and I just thought it was important to write a song about space, because we're all children when we look out into space. It's a great leveller, and without wanting to sound like a hippie, you know, it's just a list of all the moons, really. There's over 100 moons in the solar system. I didn't realise that, and I saw their names, and I didn't realise they had names.
Isn't it a little escapist, though, in a way?
I guess so. I don't care. I'm not ashamed about that, though.
Yeah, not to be ashamed of, but that's the kind of, you know, some people escape into films. I suppose this is an alternative.
I generally find the idea of a huge universe extremely exciting. I'd rather own a telescope than own a house, a radio telescope. As soon as I've got some money, I'm going to start a space program, no question.